Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are students of class 13 from Faculty of Applied Science AS120 UiTM Tapah Perak. Would like to explain about our Physics 370 mini project in this video presentation. This video presentation is prepared for our lecturer, Sir Muhammad Hafiz Muhammad Khalid. Here are our group members. These are our video's presentation's main contents. The title of our mini project is about various purposes of self-heating food packaging. Food warmers, also known as self-heating food packaging, are packaging technologies that use the heat of the food contained within the packaging to warm the surrounding air, allowing the food to be kept at a consistent, desired temperature. It is also useful in everyday life because it allows people to have hot food wherever they go without having to use a microwave oven to reheat the packed food. This method is commonly used to keep food at a constant temperature during transportation, military operations, natural disasters, mountaineers, and other situations where conventional cooking is not possible. For our Physics 370 mini project assignment, we chose the idea of creating our own self-heating food packaging as HFP, or simply called as food warmer, called Eat Now Food Warmer. The findings of this study will benefit students and society because the study of the exothermic process of a heating pad is significant in terms of measuring the amount of heat or energy liberated by a given chemical reaction. The objectives of this project are to study the exothermic process of heating pad and the heating produced by a heating pad with different masses. Therefore, from the above explanation, it is shown that a heating pad is a very useful heating source for our food warmer. Also, we want to design the prototype of our food warmer called Eat Now Food Warmer. The brand of heating pad we used called Special Heating Bag for Food from Fentai brand. According to what is a food warmer from PHY website, food warmers come in a variety of shapes and sizes and are used in a variety of situations. An exothermic reaction is provided by a calcium carbonate, sodium carbonate, calcium oxide, and aluminium powder mixture in one known type of flameless ration heater. In order to provide a high quality of food warmer, it is important to choose heating materials from good brands. Nowadays, people tend to be super busy with their daily schedules, and there are times when they do not have access to a heating source or do not want to deal with the inconvenience of preparing food. This process can be used to provide a suitable portable heat source, for example, to quickly heat food. Besides, according to Heater Journal article, meals ready-to-eat food sachets are typically provided on a personal basis, as heat transfer issues may arise in larger packages. Therefore, self-heating food warmer will allow us to enjoy the comfort of a hot meal wherever we are. According to exothermic reaction, definition and example article from study.com, a chemical reaction is any process that rearranges the atoms of one or more substances to form a new substance. When these bonds are broken as a result of a reaction, energy is released and the reaction is exothermic. The ingredients contained in this heating pad are calcium oxide, aluminium particles, and sodium carbonate. An exothermic reaction is one in which energy is released or given off during the reaction. Such foods are typically prepared by using exothermic chemical reactions and heating with flameless heaters.
I will present about literature review. As we noticed from the packaging of the heat pad we used, there were calcium oxide, aluminium particles, and sodium carbonate, which were the main ingredients. However, an exothermic reaction is generated by a calcium carbonate, sodium carbonate, calcium oxide, and aluminium powder mixture. The first ingredient, calcium oxide, is an alkaline crystal, caustic, and white solid at room temperature. It is also known as raw lime or baked lime. Calcium oxide is used in everyday life to produce heat as a crucial element in cement and to detect water in petroleum industry. When calcium oxide is breathed or come into touch with moist skin or eyes, it causes significant irritation due to its overpowering interaction with water. Coughing, sneezing, and shortness of breath can occur after inhaling this chemical. It can subsequently turn into a burn scar complete with nasal septum rupture, abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. Although calcium oxide is not a fire trap, its reaction with water can provide enough heat to ignite flammable materials. Aluminium particles or a powder mixture is the next ingredient. It's very white in color. Solar panels, suntan lotion, and lightweight concrete are just a few examples of things made from aluminium powder. It is also used to make explosives and fireworks. When the ability of aluminium powder to induce exothermic oxidation reduction reaction is taken advantage of, it produces the most stunning results. When you breathe in aluminium, it might have a negative impact on your health. Metal fume fever can be caused by exposure to aluminium. A metallic taste in the mouth, headache, fever, chest pains, chest tightness, and coughs are all signs of this blue light sickness. Symptoms can take several hours to appear after exposure and usually last a day or two. Aluminium powder is a flammable solid that poses a significant fire hazard. Sodium carbonate is an odorless white crystalline or powdered substance having an alkaline flavor. It is often known as soda ash. This chemical has a wide range of uses including glass manufacture, water softening, and food additive. Sodium carbonate can be hazardous to your health and safety if handled incorrectly or if you are accidentally exposed to it. When inhaled, this substance can cause irritation of the respiratory tract, coughing, shortness of breath, and pulmonary edema. Contact with the eye can result in lasting corneal damage and even burns. If you use sodium carbonate or soda ash in your home, be careful not to swallow or inhale the dust. Because of this risk, sodium carbonate should be handled with caution. All the material that present in the heating pad already be used in different kind of product. For instance, calcium carbide, often known simply as carbide or calcium acetylide, is made from a substantial amount of calcium oxide as a starting material. This solid decomposes in water to create combustible acetylene gas and calcium hydroxide. The breakdown reaction produces acetylene, which is a common welding fuel. A constant stream of acetylene is generated when water drips on calcium carbide, which is burned in carbide lamp. In the early 20th century, such lamps were frequently employed in lighthouse beacons and by miners, and Palankin continues to use them. Calcium carbide is also used to generate calcium cyanamide, which is a fertilizer ingredient and a starting material for several practical reasons. Next, aluminium is found in a variety of foods and beverages. Aluminium can also be found in food-related products and storage containers. All that consume 7 to 9 mg of aluminium per day. It is used in the manufacture of aeroplanes, health products, and vaccines. In vaccination, aluminium is used as an adjuvant. An adjuvant is a component of a vaccination that increases the immunological response to it. Adjuvants enable vaccine to be produced in smaller quantities and with fewer doses. Aside from that, sodium carbonate is one of the constituents. Exfoliant, toothpaste, bath oils, and other products all include it. When sodium carbonate is dissolved in water, it produces carbonic acid and sodium hydroxide, which is an antacid that neutralizes gastric acid. Aluminium, fabric, soap, glass, and paper are all made with it.
We continue in the part of literature review. As we do some research on the aspect of heating pad, we found that it already be used in health and in self-heating food. For health, which is for the development of electronic cooling and heating pad, for hot and cold therapy, where the hot pad is being used in hot therapy. There are a lot of good side effects from this therapy, such as supply more oxygen and nutrient to accelerate healing process, soothe the pain as well as relax the sore muscle. Furthermore, for the aspect of self-heating food, it starts in the United Kingdom, where they create a can for self-heating food when there are war corrupted. Since from then, the product in the technology of self-heating food were developed, especially for rally driver, campers, and picnickers. Besides that, the self-heating food that we developed bring a new innovation, which is a design for a two-chamber can where one for food and the other one for heating unit. The exothermic chemical reaction generate the heat for the process, make the food inside the can cool and ready to eat in a few minutes. Because of this, we decided to find out about the energy that we release by heating pad, as it has the relation with one of our topic in Chapter 5 Physics 210. Along with the investigation and experiment that we carry out by using calorimetry technique, we found out that heat is exchanged with calibrated object. To accomplish this, as it also provide heat to the system and absorb heat from the system. When the calorimeter is used, the amount of heat that we produce is determined by the raising in temperature.
Next, I will continue with the methodology.
The method section of this mini project contains details about how we conduct our research. It comprises our research design in methodologies we want to apply, as well as our work plan and the tasks we intend to carry out in order to finish our task. The method we want to employ is to conduct an experiment on the sample we are using and create a prototype that is acceptable for different foods based on their needed temperature. We will also look at some articles that provide a summary of current thinking on the subject, but do not include fresh experimental data as opposed to original research article. For the experiment, we have conducted the experiment at Makmal Harbour 1 at UiTM Tapah. The material used are 40 grams of water and 80 grams of powder. Next is the equipment used. It's a digital thermometer, calorimeter, electronic weight scale, spatula, and 200 ml beaker. Following that, for the preparation of the prototype, we prepare it residential collage. Material required is 80 grams of salt, glue, and also A4 paper. Then the equipment needed is the marker, or pen, ruler, and even scissors. To begin the experiment, make sure all the materials and equipment are ready. The first step is to measure the empty dry calorimeter using an electronic weight scale. This weight should be recorded as the mass of metal utilized. After that, press the tare button and pour in around 40 grams of water. Record these masses as the calorimeter's mass in the report. Furthermore, we continue with constructing the prototype. Make sure all the material and equipment are ready. The first step is for 5 grams of salt. Draw a box with 10 cm width and 6 cm long. Next, also draw for 10 grams at the length by 1 cm and the length of the breadth remains the same.
I will put an illustration figure of the prototype that we have prepared at the end of this procedure.
Then add 1 cm for each masses up to 25 grams in length, and breadth will remain the same. The box was cut and label the package with the appropriate weight. Next, apply glue to the shaded area, then paste half of the shaded area until it looks like in figure 3. After that, add salt in accordance with the weight specified. Finally, carefully glue the box so that no salt escape. Figure 4 is the final look of the prototype.
Figure 1 is the illustration for the box with different masses. Next is Figure 2. Figure 2 is how the prototype should be folded. Figure 3 is how to paste the half of the shaded area. Next is result and analysis. This is the result we obtained from the experiment. The temperature of water and aluminium for each masses has been recorded in every 1 minute. This is the analysis we obtained from the previous data. As we can see, every masses give different peak of temperature, and the higher of the masses of the sample, the higher of the temperature reached. Meanwhile, the lower of the masses of the sample, the lower of the temperature reached.
And last but not least, let me continue with the discussion and conclusion of this experiment. Based on this experiment, it is seen that the self-heating pad has various purposes. From what has been observed too, we can see that this self-heating pad has a specific heat capacity. Different masses of this self-heating pad will produce a different temperature and also heat. From this experiment, we measure the amount of heat produced from 5 gram, 10 gram, 15 gram, 20 and 25 gram of the self-heating pad. From the graph, it has shown that the mass of the self-heating pad will produce different masses of temperature and heat. This means that the mass and temperature and heat produced is directly proportional to each other. Okay, during the experiment, we have to experience a few limitations of work. The first limitations of work that we have to experience is the temperature increases of the experiment subject have to be recorded at every 1 minute, which require a lot of focus from us. So it resulting us to focus only on that one particular process, which means we have to delay other processes. Not just that, it also requires a lot of time, as it consumes more than 1 hour for us to do the experiment. This means it also a very time-consuming process, which also will delay our progress for the next step. Okay, next, the precautions during experiment. There are a few precautions that has been taken during the experiment, which is firstly, wear gloves and protective glasses. The vessel in which the reaction takes place has been covered with the lid in order to avoid the harm getting on the skin or in the eyes. So, as a conclusion, the objective of this experiment has been successfully achieved, which is to study the exothermic of heating pad, to study the produced by different masses of heating pad, and also to construct a prototype of the sample. And we can conclude that the higher the mass of heating pad, the higher the heat it will produce.
That's all from us. Thank you.